My book of the week, Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron. Hi, I'm Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here today as your therapist and coach to help you transform your stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. Now, one of the greatest things I love to share with people is knowledge. And a great way to get knowledge is to read books. And that's why I love to do this promotion each week of a particular book. Typically, I will have read it before you so that I can review it appropriately for you. I'm not going to come out and share a book review if obviously I've not had a chance to go through it myself. So what I'm sharing with you today is from my own practical experience, having read Ben's book several months ago. And just to review again, here it is, Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron. So Ben Bergeron is a professional fitness trainer, CrossFit coach, and has worked with, highly accomplished elite level athletes in the CrossFit world in particular. You may know some of the names, Katrin Davidsdottir and Matt Fraser, both of which have been champions in the CrossFit world. And Ben continues to share his great wisdom through not only his books, he's also got a great podcast called Chasing Excellence. And there's also available programs that he has through his website online if you just Google him. So the nitty-gritty, why am I promoting this book? Chasing Excellence essentially revolves around the great theme that is pertinent for today's world, mental toughness. What Ben gets into in particular is exploring what success actually is. How do we define success? As a basketball coach in my community, I share with my kids from Eddie Richardson, a great basketball coach in Calgary, there's 4 controllables. There is your attitude, your effort, your communication, and your body language. At any given time on the basketball court that I teach them, those are the things that are within your control. The referees are not under your control. The opposing players are not under your control, or the coaches, the floor conditions, and so on and so forth. We have to focus on the things that we're able to control. And this is what Ben gets into in his text, is sharing with you what is it that you're able to focus your control upon, those things that you have the parameter or control over, which include your food and nutrition. They include how you physically train. They include how you recover, your sleep, and what you're surrounding yourself by way of people and books and your content that you bring into your life that's actually creating inputs. And if you don't like certain inputs, then change them. If you don't like your outputs, then that is on you to change from the inside out. So mental toughness, he talks about attitude, he talks about effort, he talks about the success. How do you define success? Very often we're defining success upon an external goal, right? And that's important to have in our minds, but it doesn't mean that we're going to win every single time. So what is it that we've got to fall back on? And it is our mental fortitude. It is our resilience and our grit and adaptability that even if we don't win necessarily, we're always learning and chasing excellence. Again, great coach out there since now obviously passed, but John Wooden is a wonderful, incredible legacy in the basketball world as a basketball coach. And he shared with his team about being very composed despite the outcome, to the degree of which the athletes would come back to their hometown and the parents and girlfriends and siblings and family members, when they welcomed them off the bus, they didn't know if the team had won or lost. Why? Because they had trained themselves to compose their mental attitude to whether it was a win or a loss. They didn't know until they had the conversations. And I took that away as a personal experience and a personal example to take away for sharing with my kids, certainly. And as a parent, right, we can definitely slide into high levels of elation and high levels of depression. That middle ground is obviously something that is a goal to set. Why? Because from that ground, we see things more clearly and we make a more justified decision in what the next best step is actually going to be. So mental toughness surrounds your health and wellness program because, again, we're pursuing changes in our diet, changes in how we treat our body, changes in how we train our body, changes in how we rest and recover. Do they go all the time the way that we want them to? Typically not, right? Just look at your daily life up to this point. It's midday here in Canada. What's gone wrong this morning? Inevitably, things are going to go wrong. It's how we choose to respond to them. What is our resilience? What is our grit? What is our adaptability? How is our discipline? How is our commitment? When we're Ben's book, Chasing Excellence, goes into a lot of depth on something known as adversarial change. And the adversarial change is revolving around how you choose to respond to challenges when they come your way. Not if they come your way, but when. It's expecting those challenges, expecting those difficulties, and preparing for all possible eventualities. As I've said this week, there are two types of problems that we have to manage and deal with. The two are inner problems and outer problems. Ben's book is a great example, again, of going inside and learning to deal with those inner problems, the real source of our problems, our unpleasant feelings that arise, particularly when things aren't going our way, people aren't listening, and the world isn't just going the way that we would like it to, as I'm sure we're all experiencing right now with this crisis that we're all facing. So to summarize, one of the great tidbits I took away from this book was his three, I'll call them rules, but guidelines that he has in his gym, which are never whine, never complain, and no excuses. Now, I've tried to apply this into my household, and guess what? Adversarial growth was happening. And I take away, again, another great quote, which is, children had never been great to listen to their elders, but they've never failed to imitate them. And if there's anything to take away from reading this book, is you taking that personal medicine. And ultimately, when you do that, you want to help transform other people, right? You want to share this with other people, and you want them to have the same transformation you've had, but maybe they're not ready, and that's okay. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. And so as a parent, as a therapist, what I share with you by way of these books each week is great material to help support your program of health, wellness, fitness, and achieving more health, happiness, and vitality. We can call it chasing health, happiness, and vitality because we're chasing all the time, and sometimes we slip and fall, and that's okay. How you choose to respond to those adversities is ultimately what grounds you and helps you strengthen. That's the important thing here. Is pain and symptoms are feedback mechanisms which allow you to grow and evolve and expand. Books like this are tools to help support you and understand how some of these great psychologists and coaches out there have actually done some of these things already, and they're leaving recipes for you to follow. So I highly recommend check out the book of the week, Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Jason Barlow, RMT. Hope that's been of benefit to you. Please also go to my website. It's jasonbarlowrmt.com. And from there, you're able to download my free digital book, the 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief, in which I talk about the 4 controllables from my point of view as a health professional. I'm talking about your mindsets. I'm talking about your physical body and how you move it and stretch it. I'm talking about how you feed it. And I'm also talking about your rest and recovery. Those are all within your control. Sometimes we don't feel like we have control over some or all of them. And my methods that I'm sharing in my book help you to get those things back on track. Also from there, if you're interested, you want to get a paperback edition or a Kindle edition of my book, you can just go to Amazon in your country and download it straight from there. Thank you for joining me. And remember, your muscle health is my #1 priority. Take care.